Roughly a month ago, I showed you this, the brand new gravel specific Groupset from Wheeltop. And after unboxing it and taking a first look at it, I promised you I'd get it put on a bike. Now, I know what you're thinking, that was nearly a month ago, John. What have you been doing? Well, it's given me a few problems. For those of you that missed my unboxing video on this Groupset, I will both link it up there for you and also down in the description, but let's do a brief recap of what we're talking about. A gravel specific 1x small Groupset. Fully wireless, no wires at all on any of it. Will accommodate from, believe it or not, a 3 to a 14 speed cassette. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now they are offering two derailleur variants on this, a 75mm version that will accommodate up to a 46 tooth cassette, and then a 93mm version that will accommodate a massive dinner plate 51 tooth cassette. Wheeltop owners of old will be pleased to also learn that they have completely redesigned the hydraulic braking system, and it now looks like a very nice looking setup. Now, all of this is coming in at a pretty impressive 1,178 grams. Now, not only are they offering two derailleur versions on this, but they're also at point of purchase offering two lever versions too. So for the £500, you can get what I've got here, which is the alloy levers, or if you want to be a bit fancy pants, you can upgrade for an extra £50 and you can go for the carbon fibre levers like you see in the road Groupset. So Wheeltop has now released a detailed 26-page installation and user guide to accompany this Groupset. And speaking from experience, that document is far better than the previous stuff we've seen with their previous Groupsets. Now, on a personal note, it would have been helpful if they'd have shared that little nugget of information at the same time as the Groupset. Then I wouldn't have spent a week trying to work out why this Groupset didn't have a bottom limit screw. Thanks for that, Wheeltop. For transparency, Wheeltop sent me this Groupset free of charge. I did not pay for it and no money has changed hands in either direction. My opinion is my own and Wheeltop will not be influencing it. Right, now I've got that thing out of the way, we can carry on with our lives. So this is the bike we will be using, a Dolan GXA gravel specific bike. As you will notice, it's already geared up for the up and coming winter, so this new Wheeltop Groupset is going to have its work cut out in the next couple of months. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you may have spotted a fundamental flaw with this plan, being that this bike is running a 2x road chainset. Now, what I could do in this situation is spend, say, £400 on a new chainset and power meter. Yes, this one's running a power meter. Or alternatively, what we could do is do the smart trick and convert this 2x road chainset into a 1x gravel chainset. So the first thing I need to do is get the chain and the chainset off the bike. So to convert the Shimano 105 chainset to 1x, I'm going to be using a DACAS chainring. It's got 110mm of spacing and a 70-degree offset. And what does that basically mean in English? It basically means it's specifically designed to work with the modern Shimano chainsets like 105, Ultegra and Dura Ace. You can't just get a GRX chainring and chuck it on a 105, it's just not going to fit. Now if you want to do this conversion yourself, I'll list all the bits down below that you need in the video description. And I'm also going to need to put on some new chainring bolts because the old ones won't work. So the one I'm using here is 42 teeth. Once I've got the old chainrings off, it's just a simple process of giving the old chainset a quick once over with a bit of degreaser and then reverse the process with the new chainring, making sure you do it up nice and tight. Old derailleur comes off easy with an Allen key and the new one just goes straight in its place. It's just like for like swap out, it's super simple. These press to cycle preset torque tools are such a handy thing. Chain whip and a massive socket makes for very lightweight work of getting the cassette off.
So the cassette I'm using is this ridiculously big 13-speed job from ZTTO, which has got 50 teeth. Now I hunted high and low trying to find a 13-speed cassette this big, and I ended up having to go all Trace Velo on the job and order one off Valley Express. Won't be needing the front derailleur, so just whip that off and give the frame a clean where it was. Be amazed how much crap was up behind it. Now, as these levers are very, very similar to their road version, in this particular case, these two levers are just a direct swap out, nice and easy. Now, if I was swapping these levers out for Shimano ones, I'd either have to use the Wheeltop hoses, or I'd have to cut the hose and redo the olive and barb, because although the Wheeltop uses the same BH59 olive and barb as Shimano, the shifter flare nut has a different thread pitch on it, which basically means you can't use a Shimano flare nut on a Wheeltop shifter, so you have to cut them off and redo them. But the good news is the calipers are just a like-for-like swap out for Shimano, because the flare nut is exactly the same thread as the Shimano one, so as I say, you can just swap them out like for like. Now, in previous videos I've had a lot of people ask me whether you can use Wheeltop shifters with Shimano calipers. Yes you can, I've tried it out and they work absolutely fine with each other. Reinstallation of the chain set is pretty obvious stuff. General assembly grease, just to apply a bit on both ends just to aid installation and prevent any corrosion. And make sure you do everything up to the specified torque settings. Wheel on, once again, torque it down. So this is the chain I'll be using, just standard stock Shimano 12-speed. I played it safe and I ordered myself a very extra long chain on this one at 138, just because of the size of everything. Split pin in, chain done, and job's done.
Now, although this is a gravel specific group set, there is no lever in place to lock it like you would see in, say, a Shimano GRX. So to adjust the damping, instead you remove this cover and then adjust the 8mm nut that's behind it. Oh, and incidentally, that is also the place that Wheeltop decided to hide that other limit screw. Fantastic idea, Wheeltop. That'll never get boring adjusting that. So the only job I didn't film was the bleeding of the brakes, but I'm sure you've seen those videos 100 times. If you're interested and you want to watch a video on how you do that, you can either click up there or I'll link it in the description so you can watch that video at the end. Right, so what do you think? What's your opinion on how it looks? The back end is a bit over the top, massive cassette, but I actually think it looks all right. I think the derailleur looks pretty cool. This whole shark fin thing they've got going on the back here looks great. The chain set, on the other hand, I'm not so convinced. If I'm honest, although it was my idea, it does look like a bit of a hack job, and there's a reason for that, is because it is a bit of a hack job. But saying that, £30 versus £400 for a new chain set and power meter, I know which one I prefer. What do you think of it? Stick a comment below. Fine-tuning of the Wheeltop group set is done via its companion app, and it is this adjustment that sets it apart from everything else out there. Imagine this scenario, which we have all been in. The shifting is absolutely fine, say but sprocket 7. Go into the app, sprocket 7, shift it along a bit without affecting any of the other sprockets, which means we can now adjust this group set in ways that were never possible previously. But it is that level of adjustment that for some is its downfall. The shifters can be set up to do pretty much anything you want. You can do it the old-fashioned way where you've got the right-hand lever doing both up and down, or if you want you can be a bit flappy paddle gearbox fancy pants and you can have the left-hand one doing one direction and the right-hand one doing the other. One thing these levers unfortunately don't have are those satellite buttons that you see on the top of Di2. Now me personally, when using the Wheeltop group set, that's one of the things I miss the most, are those satellite buttons. So yeah, Wheeltop, you need to get on that one. Okay, so let's talk batteries. So like its road-going cousin, the TX, the GEX has an integral battery. It's built in. Now, Wheeltop claims 20,000 shifts between charges, and the battery has a life cycle expectancy of 800 cycles. So the statistics being quoted for the battery would suggest it will far outlive its requirement. But there are still plenty of naysayers out there that are immediately, no, don't want to know, you can't replace the battery, not interested. Now on that subject, something interesting has recently happened. If you go to the GeX user manual and scroll down to the section titled Rear Derailleur and Maintenance, there's a couple of interesting entries that I want to quote for you, and I've got the laptop here, so I'll quote them word for word. First one, if you need to replace the battery, please pay attention to use special tools to remove the screws. If you need to replace the battery, that would suggest that Wheeltop is saying you can replace the battery. Okay, the second line. Do not use unlicensed third-party batteries, especially rear derailleurs, in brackets, which may cause the transmission to not work properly. Don't use third-party batteries. That would suggest to me that Wheeltop will be providing an official battery. So, what's going on here? Are we seeing signs that Wheeltop intend to provide a battery as a spare part should you need to replace it? Don't know. This is just my opinion. I'm guessing here. Don't quote me on it. What's your thoughts? Stick a comment below. Oh, and have you heard? Wheeltop has recently acquired the high-end chainset and cassette manufacturer Rotor, who it just so happens has got a very well-established presence in both Europe and the US. I wonder why they did that. Anyway, enough of all of this. Let's go for a ride and see what it's like. Typical British weather. It's pretty much going to be like this now from like October to about March next year. So I'm riding along thinking about the stuff I talked about in the workshop, but more importantly, the stuff I didn't talk about in the workshop. Car coming behind me. I know. It's my non-Garmin radar lying to me. Watch out for a review on that. So yeah, I've been thinking about the stuff I talked about in the workshop, but more importantly, the stuff I didn't talk about in the workshop. And this fine English weather makes me think of one of them, waterproof rating. I'm 95% sure it's an IP67 waterproof rating, but I'll check it when I get back on their website and I'll flash it up on the screen. Another thing I realised I didn't do was actually show you the gears working. Fail. A video about a Groupset and I didn't show you it working. So, price coming out, I did a quick video to show you a bit of a close-up of the gears shifting. But what I've also done, I brought my Insta360 with me and I'll bolt that to the back of the bike, and I should do you a bit of footage showing you the gears shifting real time. And another thing that I remembered I didn't talk about was linking it up to a head unit. So I've linked it to my Garmin and it seems to have linked up absolutely fine. I'm struggling to make the Garmin see it as a 13-speed Groupset though, but I suspect that's because I'm running an 830 and 13-speed Groupsets didn't technically exist when my head unit was made. So I'll do a bit of investigating into that, and if I work out what's going on there, I'll stick a comment in the bottom of the video to work out what that situation is. So I'm about 5 miles into the ride, and so far I'm very impressed with the shifting. When you take into consideration this is a cheap and nasty £30 cassette off of AliExpress that's size 50, so the transitions between sprockets, it's a massive jump, and the derailleur is just coping with it absolutely fine. I'm going up about 5% climb now, that's why I'm panting a bit, and if I go up the gears, it's just doing it. I'm changing now, you probably can't hear it, there you go, you can hear that, and just going up and down the sprocket, and it's on 5% climb, so it's under load, and it's just changing really, really smoothly. No problems whatsoever. So yeah, so far I'm really impressed. Right, let's head into town, out the other side, and there's a disused railway on that side that's usually covered in mud. We've had a lot of rain, so let's get it down there and give it a good caking. So I'm on a disused railway. It's not far from the workshop. I absolutely chucked it down last night and it's really muddy and wet. So in typical John style, here I am again on the bike talking about another group set, and once again I've forgotten to talk about the brakes. But if I'm being totally honest, you can't really tell one hydraulic brake from another nowadays. You know, you get a 105 hydraulic brake and you compare it to a Dura Ace. Can you genuinely tell the difference when you use them? I know I can't. And it's the same story with the new Wheeltop GeX brakes. They look fantastic, and I genuinely think they're a major improvement cosmetically on the old ones. But can I tell a difference in the performance? Does the ceramic piston make any difference? Does the way they've been designed make any difference? I can't feel a difference in them, but they work very, very well, and they're a great set of brakes. So what is my opinion of the new Wheeltop Gravel group set? Well, as of right now, I don't have an opinion, but what I will say is once I was eventually shown how to fit it, it went on the bike very well indeed. And the one bike ride I have taken it on, both the shifting and the braking has been very impressive. But one bike ride does not an opinion make. So I will continue to use the group set and watch out for a future video where I will pass my opinion. Now, if you've already made your mind up and you want to get this group set, Wheeltop has told me they will be providing a discount code that will get you a little bit of money off. Now, I don't know exactly what that code is and how much of a discount it will be, but when I do know, I'll put it in the description below. Now, in the meantime, if you want to watch my unboxing video, it's that one up there, or if you'd like to see my video on the road going version of this group set, it's that video down there. Thanks for watching.